have a phone, right?
Yeah. Do that. Yeah. What's good, YouTube? American Rocks at it again. Today we're gonna be building with a great scholarly brother here that has a lot of information about the islands and the origins of our people and all of that. As I've been telling you people a long time, that we are wild Indians. You know what I'm saying? And the brother here, Prince Sadiq, is gonna give us a more breakdown in detail of what's going on. So brother, Prince Sadiq,
Greetings, family.
brother,
Greetings, man, and thanks for having me.
yeah man, big up yourself, man. Yeah man. So as I said I was telling the viewers that you have a lot of knowledge, you know your bloodline, you know your roots, and this is not a play thing. And this is just this is like a public service announcement to people on the islands, and I'm saying, this brother, he has a lot of knowledge about the the, the Paratee Indians in particular, and the
Yeah, today I'm just gonna speak basically. Sorry, I'm just gonna speak basically on my tribe. Yeah, I have a lot of other information on other tribes within Jamaica that still exist today, but we're
mhm.
just gonna stick to the Paratee people. Proud people are from Saint Elizabeth, the original first Jamaican of Saint Elizabeth. Maroons are not the first people. Maroons is a mixture of different ethnic groups, but Paratee, we are one of the original people of Jamaica. Yes, my brother.
Yeah, and as you said, you hear what they said. They said the Maroons, not to stick a, not to attack nobody. He just being real, based on our information. Well, as I said, Maroons is really like a mixture of different Indian cultures coming together, and
Right.
foreigners. Some of the Maroons have foreign influences, like the foreign, the European, the original Europeans, the European royal bloods. You know, they come at 16 and that's who they call in Africans, which they are not. They are the original Europeans that got exiled from Europe, and they come on the island, and yeah, they mixed in with the people you call Maroons. And
Today,
they,
yes.
so go ahead, brother.
Yes, man. Yeah. Actually, some of the Maroons, though, are originally from Paratee. When the British came to the island, right, and they were at war with us, right? Some of us took to the mountains. So when you hear the word, there's a distortion in today. They're saying that Maroons means runaway slaves. That's a bunch of BS, right? It's all today's all made up history. There's no proof of that, right? Yes, you will have some Africans that the Maroon took in, right? But majority of the Maroons are the indigenous people of Jamaica, just a different nation that mixed in together.
All right, you hear that? The viewers, you hear that? So, as I said, this man knows his history. This man know his roots. This man know where he's from. This man is not a. He doesn't take read these crazy scholarly books and all these things and this DNA testing kits and all that nonsense. This man has his grandmother still alive. Been telling him, as he told me the story, brother. You want to tell you want to tell a story with your grandmother?
Yes, man. When I was a kid, right? I remember I was very Rasta minded back then, because I was like back to Africa and all those stuff. So I remember one day I went home and I told my grandmother that, oh, yes, we're African and all those things. My grandma said, no, we're Indian, right? I don't know what Indian means, but we're Indian. And I said, then she said she's Paratee. She's from Paratee. Her families are from the Paratee. And I'm like, Grandma, okay, yes, you're wrong though, because the book says we're from Africa, right? That's what
Yeah.
teacher said, we're from Africa. She said, no, 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 we are Paratee. And I dismiss it because I said, grandmother is old. She don't know what she's talking about, and she wasn't that much educated anyway. My arrogance, as a little kid. Later on, when I got older, right, I'm trying to do my history in terms of family ancestry. And then everything I run into is Paratee, 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 right? And then I look at some of the stuff that is written. And he says when they came to the islands, these Paratee existed and they did not know where they came from, right? They are marveled where these people came from, but they all existed among the swamplands of Jamaica, around the St. Elizabeth Coast, Black River area. And actually, from that region, the whole Bluefield, all the way down that region, is constitute the Paratee people. But it's not Paratee. Paratee is just located to a little tiny bit today. They change history.
Right.
So I get to realize, man, I was embarrassed. I said, look how my grandmother always telling us our history, and I was denying her of the history by basically saying that she don't know what she's talking about. And now I have to admit that my grandmother was correct. And saying that, I think this can be said for most Jamaicans, right? When our ancestors were saying that we are Maroons or we are Indians, we dismissed them and said, oh, we came from Africa, not knowing that we always existed on the island.
Okay.
Not knowing that we are the indigenous Arawaks and Caribs of the islands, right?
Yes.
Not knowing that we only are basically, it's paper genocide. We are dead on paper, but in fact, we are actually still alive. We are the same Arawaks, descendants of the Arawaks they saw when they came to the islands. We are their children. So, then I started to do a lot of other research, man, and I found a lot of stuff on the Paratee, and then I found my family lineage go all the way back to when the Europeans came there, and even some of the Spanish archives that we always existed there.
All right.
All
So
this thing, we all came from Africa, brother. It's not true. The whole world basically was inhabited by us. Everywhere the Europeans went, we were there. And there's no difference among Jamaicans. You will never find those stringy hair so-called Indians, maybe one or two, but every day, I guarantee you, every grave you will dig it, ancestral grave in Jamaica, you're gonna find us.
yeah. Shout out to Dark Monix. Dark Monix, big up yourself.
Dark man, we need to link, brother. I've been listening to you for some time. I wanted to come on, but
Let me send him an invite.
Yeah.
Dark man, you can do that invite. I send him an invite and see him at hold on there. You know what? Send him this way. This will be a very interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is very interesting. Let me invite it. Brother, you can keep sharing information, Go ahead.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
And also in terms of my families here, right? My mom, my aunt, right? They grew up hearing the same thing, right? But when they got older now, because of the Africa stuff, they also put it at the back of their mind. So when I start showing them the information, right? They also confirm what I'm saying is true, right? They also confirmed and said, yes, our family is from there. One of my family in Jamaica, right? The Parchment, right? And Parchment was one of the clan of the Paratees, right? Every Parchment in Jamaica is from Paratee. They may not know it, but every Parchment, even if you find a Parchment in the States, I would say 90% chance that they come from Paratee, because Paratee is one of the name. I mean, Parchment is one of the name that some group of Paratee will call themselves. We hear a lot of names in Jamaica, right? And we think it's a slave master name, which is not, because look at this way. You'll have maybe 10 slave masters in a region. I don't want to use the word slave master, maybe a plantation owner, right? And within that region, you'll have 1,000 surnames, right? So tell me now, 1,000 surnames from one slave master or plantation owner. So, brother, a lot of our history have been distorted, And, a lot of it is also made up history. And, this Africa stuff, brother, is another way for us not to keep looking. Hello? Yes, people. So, my Jamaican people, man.
Yeah, brother. Sorry about that. We're on a phone call. Sorry about that.
Yeah. my Jamaican brothers and sisters, Please don't just accept what they told you. Do your own research and you'll be amazed how many different nations existed in Jamaica, right? This out of many one people, out of many different tribes that existed there. Majority of Jamaicans, I know we say, oh, we are black Africans, but guess what? The real Indians are our complexion, and majority of Jamaicans are the American Indians. When the United States went to war with a lot of the Indian tribes, you know where they would send a lot of these tribes after the tribe lost? Two major places, two main places, Jamaica and Barbados. Jamaica is made up of thousands of different Indian tribes from the United States and the United States region. When a lot of the American Indians were sold in slavery, they were renamed, reclassified from Indian to Negroes or Africans. And that's how a lot of these Jamaicans get our name, Africans. But in fact, we're the true indigenous people of the Americas. But you know, a lot of people want to dispute what I'm saying, but I'm saying have an open mind and do your research. Or a lot of people can even contact me because I have a lot of research that I've done. So you know, we just have to keep building, and the knowledge is there.
Yes, brother. So as you said, you could always reach out to this brother here because he have a lot of history, and I believe he does genealogy to some extent.
Yeah, especially mostly on the Paratee people and other,
Parity people.
yeah.
Yeah, the
And
party
and,
people.
and
So,
and remember,
Dark man
Jamaica
come.
also, I mean, sorry. There's a next big presence in Jamaica that people don't talk about, mosquito. I would say
Yeah,
majority of Jamaica men have some mosquito blood. Mosquito is not a black tribe from South America. Now people want to classify them, say they are Asians. The mosquitoes are the blacks are from Africa. But guess what?
yeah,
The mosquito are the original people of that region, right? And
yeah.
the mosquito were just like us. You could not tell the difference. There's a thing I came into when I was doing some research on the indigenous people of Jamaica. How
Yeah,
the Spaniards, the British, would brought thousands of mosquitoes to Jamaica, right?
yeah.
And enslave them. And later years, right? A lot of the mosquitoes
Mm,
took the mountains to become maroons. I mean, join up with the maroons, right? They would bring
yeah,
in new mosquitoes because they said mosquitoes were the only one who could challenge the maroons in the hills, right? New
yeah.
mosquitoes to fight the maroons in the hill, not knowing that these new mosquitoes are actually fighting against their grandparents in the hills.
You hear that?
The same people. One came when they're before they were
But
ki- I mean, one were born on the island and the other was born in Honduras, Guatemala, that regions, Nicaragua, that region. Brought them to fight the ones in Jamaica, but yet they were the same people.
Yep,
One speaking, I mean, broken Spanish, one English. You understand?
yep,
But they were the same people fighting against each other. So
yep.
there's a lot of trick. I mean, in terms of what goes on in history.
but
Yeah, man.
it's
Dark
going
man.
on now still today.
Greetings, my
Big up
Yeah,
brother.
you,
yourself.
Greetings,
you, you can hear
greetings.
me.
Yeah, big up yourself, Dark man. Yeah, man. Go ahead,
On,
Dark man.
on,
Go ahead.
on.
I
That's
know.
that's the same thing that's going on now today.
Yeah,
Today, when you look at it, when you see mainland Indian, island Indian, and you could repeat it and show the proof as much as you want over and over to some of them. It's like they totally ignore it and want to be territorial just to one area and tear each other down still. So and it gone as so far as to the fact that no one wants to admit to certain portions of the history that we are all still one people.
we are.
Everyone
We are.
wants to brag that they're this, that they're that they're from here, that they're from there. But when you go back down into the history and the research, it goes back to us still being one people. We are all intermixed with each other. So you're right. You're definitely
I challenge people all the time, right? Especially in terms of my people, the Paratee Indians of Jamaica, right? I challenge them. I said, prove to me that my families came from Africa. None of them can do it. The Jamaican government, you go to the archives, we always existed on the island, right? My
yeah.
tribe is not the only tribe that existed. There are several other tribes which we can go into another time. And it's in their records, right? But as soon as they put some of these things up, they take them down because they want us to all fall for the trap that we came from Africa. But guess what? The trick is, if you say that you're from somewhere else, you can never lay claim to the land. The land is not yours. So you saying that you came from Africa, that means Jamaica is not yours by right. Right? You're a
That's a
foreigner.
fact.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
Yeah. But
That's a
when
fact.
you go and you do the research, brother, you'll see the amount of Indians. Listen, the British, when you look at the where the British owned, I mean, occupied when they were there, a piece of land, it was not most of Jamaican. Most of the part outside of the British enclave were us. And we were not a part of their census, right? So we're not counted among them.
That's a fact. And
Yeah?
this is why still to this very day, even to this very day, my mom look at me and say, "Hey, don't you play part in that census? I don't care what it says on the paperwork. Don't you play a part in it." When we was back home, when they used to come and try to come to our yard and knock on our doors, we was told, "Don't let them in the yard. Don't let them come to the door. I would stick the dogs on them."
Yeah.
We didn't play no parts in their census. That's
Yeah.
what we used to do when we was back home. Even now that we're here now, we don't play. We still don't play a part in their census because their census is for their system. That is their tracking system. We are not are any way affiliated or associated with their system. And though for those of us who got caught up in paperwork and documentation that entrapped us in their system, we can get out of those paperwork and documentations because a man word is his word. If you say you are not that and you can prove that you are not that, then that's what it is. Who's another man to come and tell you that this is who you are and identify you as something that you are not? And that man is not of your lineage, your blood, your clan, your tribe, or your history, period.
Yep.
with that said,
Absolutely.
I remember reading something
Absolutely.
back then in Jamaica, right? Saying that the British brought the Ashanti slave to Jamaica, right? But yet, when the British came, they said, okay, the Maroons are runaway slave, right? Well,
Hmm.
it stated that the Maroons the blacks were fighting the British on the Black River coast right there, right? When they lost, they took to the mountains and they became runaway slaves, right? But later on, it says that the British brought the Ashanti to Jamaica. Does this make sense now? When they came to the island, a bunch of black people are fighting you, not to, I mean, make lay foot on the island, right? And when these people run away to the mountains, right? You can write later on and say the British brought them there.
That
Eh?
is true.
Yeah,
And
we
you
were
know
fighting you
what?
before.
Makes no sense.
And when
But
we went to the mountain, you saw the British brought the African slave there. I mean, those Ashanti slaves. Ah, stupid, man. You have
but
to
you
look
see,
into their lies. A lot of times, you can tell, see that they're lying.
but even the Ashanti, the supposed Ashanti, 'cause we have to say supposed Ashanti people themselves. I did a live stream where I played a video of them even saying themselves, the same man that's up and down in Jamaica talking about the Ashanti and Jamaica have the same history. That same man, there himself saying that his people, his supposed Ashanti people, was selling other tribesmen and other tribal people and other tribes
Right,
into slavery,
right.
right? But he was like, "Oh, but we didn't sell Ashanti into slavery, but they did hold them into indentured servitude." But it's not that the British came and captured anyone and brought them anywhere to Jamaica. The British wasn't bringing them to Jamaica. The British was bringing them up and down the east coast of where they're from.
Yeah.
That's where the British was carrying them. They weren't carrying them all the way over to come over into the islands because they were locking them into indentured servitude for a certain amount of years. But even there's even a telltale story that the Ashanti people were the people that was exiled from Portugal,
Hmm.
and that's how they ended up in the
Yep.
Congo because their arrival story in the Congos don't make no sense when you really dig down into the research of it. Their first king goes back to I think the 1300. But how are you supposed to be a tribe that been in that area from time immemorial? But your first king goes back to the 1300s, your first chief. That
But,
don't
but
make
you
sense.
know, a lot of African scholars now, not us, on the continent of Africa, are saying that their people were enslaved by the Ashanti. So, there's a lot of strange stories in terms of this Ashanti now.
No, 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 no. And here's yes, they're right. That's what I'm saying. They admitted it. The Ashanti, I don't know how they managed to do this. Yeah, they went down into the Congos and into certain parts of Africa,
Mhm.
and defeated over 200 tribes and put
Wow.
them all underneath one banner. That is
Yeah.
no way in hell possible.
Yeah.
That is insane. And put them all underneath the Ashanti banner. That
Mhm.
sounds like sold out people that teamed up with an colonizing force and went in and stormed and slaughtered and killed people for their land, which is why you see the British and other colonizing force has such a foothold in some of the land now in what they call Africa.
Right.
Because when you see these Ashantis now being portrayed on TV, they have all this form of gold and all these big gold chains and gold crowns. And when you look at the other tribes, they're not doing that. And I watch what the other tribes do. I don't see the other tribes wearing all this gold. Why? What is so special about you that everybody else was decolonized? Everybody else was colonized. Their riches and everything taken away from them, or they had their government come down so hard on them that majority of the lands was taken away, but you still have your lands, your gold, your riches, everything bragging about it, but you're supposed to have went through this big slavery experience. It makes no sense. None.
Yeah, something not right
And
with
and,
that.
and
Sound
also
fishy.
people people need to look into the look. When did the British went into Africa?
That is true.
I think at
Huh?
1856, I think.
Around that
It's
time, yeah. So
it's
I
in the
mean,
1800s.
and when did slavery abolish
Uh
in Jamaica? Slavery
Slavery
abolished in Jamaica.
um
around 18 in the, I think the same 1800s.
yeah, 1803.
Yeah.
1803.
Okay, okay. See, I hope people are really looking into these things, Look into the lives of the British man.
I watched that man go to Jamaica and shed crocodile tears, right? Crocodile tears when he looking at some pictures, and I just said, "Yo, this man is so wicked. This man is so wicked. This man is so wicked." And then I watched the woman that was next to him, and then they have another African woman there. Talk about she's a priestess. Priestess, my foot. Talk about she went to go bless Nanny Grave, and I'm like, watch this woman a curse Nanny Grave. Watch this woman cursing Nanny Graveside. Look at this shit. And people not catching on to what is really going on, and people thinking that she's really blessing it. And I said, yo, that's not how you bless a gravesite. That's not how you praise and honor someone's gravesite. And I watching all of these people, and I said, you see these folks,
Yeah, man.
mark these people faces, because these people are the reason why you are in the peril that you are in today, lost with an identity crisis for the most part. And these are the same people that if you trace back their lineage, their ancestry, it's going to go back over into Europe, more so back down into Spain and Portugal. When they trace
Yep.
back their lineage and history, and you're going to see who is really the string pullers of the manipulation of history, and then why they put the pale face man at the front line, because the pale face man is at the front line. Everywhere you go, you see the pale face man, the pale face Asian, the pale face man is at the front line. Every single way you go, the pale face man did this, the pale face man did that, the pale face, the pale face. But when you trace back down into the lineage of the pale face man, like if you do the Saudi Arabian royal family, 3 generations back, it gets dark as charcoal. And the agenda that they had
Yeah,
then
man.
is the same agenda now. You see what I'm saying? So
Yep.
if the people of the Americas don't get wise and wake up, and they formulated organizations and organizations within our community. They have the Rastafarian organization in the islands, the Pan-African organization, they have the Nation of
Yep.
Islam, you have the Moorish Science Temple, you have all these organizations now in the community. And when you trace back the origin of the folks that created these organizations, they are not from here.
No.
Yep. They are not like your Farah Muhammad. Like your Farah Muhammad created the temple, the nation of Islam, right?
And the Moorish Science Temple.
Right.
They denied
Absolutely.
under him. He's the one that did that. Yeah.
And then your Farrakhan come and take over because he just implant Farrakhan because I saw Farrakhan I saw him in a picture where he's like in a Masonic lodge
Yeah, he's
getting
on
his rights. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Getting his rights, getting his plaque and all of that.
When
You
you
know what I'm
see
saying?
them, when you see them go up to the Queen of England, and you see them in their uniform, and the Queen is knighting them. That's when they reach in the highest of the highest degree. When they reach to that level. Okay.
Yeah.
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 So
And
he's been through all of that.
the governor general is knighted by the Queen also. So
Yes. He-
yeah.
not to cut you. He's her sovereign. He's supposed to be the only sovereign on the island of Zamaka. That's what they're trying to say, because he's been anointed by that de facto queen. Because that's not even a real royals bloodline for over there neither. When people do their research, that is
Yep.
a de facto. But again, people don't know, and they look at Patrick Allen as if he's this sovereign figure, and he's really not. He's a pawn. He's a puppet put in place. And the thing is, these people are so smart. All people just need to wake up. Just need to wake up.
Yeah, that's all I need to do. And as I was saying the other day, that a lot of these like these islands we see them going through with even the economies and all this stuff, and the brain drain, and a lot of people, leaving to go to the mainland to work and all this stuff. That was strategically done by the I wouldn't want to say like the ABC, the alphabet agents,
The alphabet boys. Yeah.
the alphabet boys strategically do this thing. 'Cause what they do, they plan a coup, and the way they strategically do it, they do it in such a way to destroy the island's economy. So have to leave where you at to go over to the mainland to be less than a second class citizen, to work for minimum wages. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so strategic. It's so strategic. And then now when you leave the island now, when the numbers on the islands get low, who the Chinese gonna move in? You know what I'm saying? Chinese, the Hindus, the coolies, you know what I'm saying? They're moving, they set up all these shops, these stores, and they start to treat the people on the islands horrible.
But
And
that's
then,
go ahead.
yeah, and then now you have this lockdown now, when now we can't really move to go back and forth to the island or nothing. So they, under the quiet, I know they're moving in the Chinese and all the coolies them over there. The strategic take over the whole. Look how the Chinese just the other day buy up the whole of the port.
And that's another thing, because
Wow.
they don't own nothing. They don't own not one piece of land on that island or around that island. They are even anywhere in the waters near to that island or even off. They don't own anything. It is what you call the illusion of.
Yeah.
I say, well, I just bought this. I say, Bumakam, look, we just bought the port, but you know that since I'm operating and moving in a corporate capacity, that a corporation is a fiction. So a fiction can't buy or own anything. So when they're saying China owns China, who's the man named China?
Exactly. Who's
Show
the
me
man?
that man. So
Absolutely.
when people become submissive and say, but China owns this now, where's the man named China? It has to go back to a living, breathing, physical person. And the only owners or the only heirs to the land is you, the original people of the land. No one else. any government goes and say, well, we're going to make a deal and we're going to sell this portion to China and sell this portion to Russia, the government is supposed to come and ask your permission first, because at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
you're the boss. But because you are brought up in the capacity that you are not the boss, and that the what you would call it, your co-work, your not your co-workers, your employees has flipped the script and make you think that they have all the power, and they don't have all the power, because everything that they've done it to make the world think that you gave permission. It's like the other day when the the other day when they said, all right, they're shutting down all businesses here on the mainland, right? There was a guy that went and created a new business, and they went and they shut it down. And that guy took his governor to court, and they had to make him open back his business. Why? Because it violated the law of the land. The governor
Yes, yes.
can't make any form of orders without the okay of the people. That guy never okayed shit that the governor said, so he has all right to open his business. There was a woman that reopened back her hair salon, even though she's a colonizer. I want to show people how this works. That reopened back her hair salon, and they locked her up and put her in jail. The Supreme Court ruled that they're supposed to let her go and leave her be. You know why? Because she didn't consent to what the governor is saying. These people work for you, the people. Okay? And for the man and woman who are the origines of the land, you have more power than even the colonizers' children who are here. And you got to take heed to these little things that you're seeing, because when you see the courts rule against the governors, that's major. That is something big. When you see Patrick Allen and the prime minister name Andrew Holness making these decisions, they are not to make those decisions without the okay of you, the people. So what do? They keep you divided, labor right, PNP. And look how they strategically called you labor right and PNP after the African political parties to try. And this is why they keep locking you back to Africa, because you are going off of African identity, even with the political parties, and you are not Africans.
Yep. Like even the Saramaka Maroons have a case. If you research the Saramaka versus Suriname, even they um managed to get their lands back from the Suriname corporation or government. They managed to come together and get their lands back from this colonizing force.
And did they formulate any political party to contract?
No,
Okay.
no, no, they didn't. They just said they're Saramaka Maroons. This land belongs to them, and they have the right to be left alone.
Okay.
They wanted the lands for the minerals. And they're like, no, hell to the no. This is our land. This is our territory. Well, no, I use the word territory, but this is our lands. And this is where we're gonna stay and want to be left alone. And they had it was actually what you call it? The OAS, it was an OAS case. So I think it's a UN judge that ruled on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they got their lands back. But
It,
this goes Prince Sadiq.
Yeah.
So as what that man was saying, when you bring up the Paratee, said that they're paying taxes for over in St. Elizabeth there, and they're not supposed to.
Right. Yeah.
So
Because
what that man is saying is the same thing. They have the right to take that governor general and take him to court or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And asked him if did they consent to that.
because a lot of squatters in the past, right, came
Yeah.
into that region and just basically took over the land. You know this thing with the government of Jamaica, right? If you live on it
Yeah.
for a certain period of time, the land is yours, regardless of ancestral ties. Because we haven't paid tax. A lot of people don't pay taxes, and you never paid taxes in years. Pay taxes to who? If you go back and look at the archives, nobody was paying taxes, right? Because this is ancestral land, and that can be said for a lot of places in Jamaica. People, you see, the thing is what the Jamaican government did in the past also. People from the swampland, they relocate them to higher grounds, and these people lost in touch with their land. The children don't know that this land is there and that's their ancestral homeland. And it was done all over Jamaica.
Yep. So,
And
as I'm
and sorry, and you know, the independence of Jamaica, right, was also the destruction of our people in the sense that we all come together and we put all our trust in the hands of the government, which is in the hands of basically the Queen, right? The Queen get our land, now it becomes Crown land. So
mm-hmm.
a lot of the ancestral land of Jamaica for our people, it's not there anymore. Even up in Cockpit country, can you believe their Crown land in Cockpit country?
And that's up in
Yeah,
the, you know what I'm saying? That should be off limits.
yeah, that's Maroon country and there's Crown land in Maroon country. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. So this is why I was telling people every time I try to even drop the hints, like I know, like the word Jamaica is not the land. The word Jamaica is a crown trust.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? They set up trust all over the Caribbean, even the mainland too. The U.S. is a crown trust. You know what I'm saying?
The problem is, you know what the problem is? In some of those areas, you have a lot of people that's not educated,
right.
right? And then the ones who are educated are using the ones who are uneducated, and they're using them to contract with the corporation. And once they do that, it's a done deal. They're screwed. So now they're getting
Yep.
pulled into things that they're not used to. That's what I'm saying. And it's crazy because you know what? You know who had when I was talking to a while back, because I haven't spoken to them in a while. The Yen Kun Kun, Alex and Makia.
Yeah,
Malkia,
yeah,
Alex and Malkia. They were saying something similar too, off that strength. And it is the biggest issue, the biggest challenge is educating the people on current events to what's going on. Because you have corrupt leaders, you have corrupt chiefs that are selling out the ancestry, that are selling out the land because they feel like that fiat dollar is where the value is, not knowing that these people are taking the value from the land and selling it back to them, their own stuff, and making a profit off of it, not know that they are the profit. The land that they are on are the profit. Why sell it out to a foreigner when you yourself can capitalize on it? You don't have to sell the land. People come there by the droves for tourism. That alone should be enough. You could put the corporation, the corporate supposed government, in a position because the corporate government claims that they take loans. They took loans from the Chinese. They took loans from this and that. But if you are a foreigner and you come to my land and you say, hey, you want to invest in my land, yeah? That should not be a loan. You want to invest in my land because you want to run a business from my land. And I say, okay, this portion of property here you can run your business from, but you're supposed to pay me taxes every month
Yep.
for your business being here. That tax money should go into the infrastructure of the land to develop and cultivate and make the people, the original people of the land, even more advanced. Put into the smaller businesses of the land. Because anywhere you go in the world, the small businesses make up majority of the economy.
yeah,
Now, the Jamaican corporate government, right, claim that they're in debt. They're in debt to these people. They're in debt to that people. How? How are you in debt to people who are looking to buy our shares, our spaces from your land? How could you be in debt to them? What kind of contracts are these that you are signing? How are you borrowing money from people that you shouldn't even be borrowing money from? Me personally, I wouldn't sell any. Well, we know they didn't sell anything, that they can't, a corporation can't own anything. But let's speak in the terms of what the people are thinking is going on. I wouldn't sell anything. You want
Mm-hmm.
me a piece of land? I will rent it to you. And people don't catch on. They're not selling them the land. They're renting it to them for a specific number of years. Like China just tried to renew a contract with one of them African countries. They wanted to hold on to the land for 99 years. The whole 99 years thing is from the Europeans. The Europeans came
Yes.
here with the
Not
99-year lease.
Not to cut you,
Yeah.
dark man. You hit the nail on the head, brother. My father-in-law from Trinidad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that the U.S have military base and they lease the lands from the British government for 99 years.
Yes.
He literally just told me that not too long ago, like a couple days ago.
But that lease is invalid
Yeah,
because
no,
again,
because the people never consent to that.
yeah, and that's two foreign entities doing business with each other. That has nothing to do with the people on the land. Nothing to do with the land or the people on the land. So they pretty much invaded and they stay there as invaders. But again, it all goes back down to education. To education, these governments are getting these big checks and they're stealing it, the money, and running away, and they're not putting it back. You didn't need Chinese people to come to Jamaica to build a road. We are brick masons, we're bricklayers, we're road builders. We know how to do that shit already. Just give us the equipment and we could build our own roads better than any other man can. Who knows the layup and the makeup on the structure of your land better than you? And then when you look, it's not even the Chinese them building the road, it's the people them on the island in the hot sun moving the car on the dirt making the road. So you build your own road and you're talking about the Chinese them build me a road. They didn't build you shit. They want to do business there. They have to pay to do business. Period. So they have to pay you to do business. Why are you paying them anything? You're not in debt. You
Yep.
yourself are not in debt. That's your government. Host your government. Get rid of your government. Your government is corrupt. Kick them out of office. If it was anyone else, if you and Tom in your community have a fight, and you say Tom have to leave, the people have come together. I said Tom have to leave because Tom not the right in the community. And tell Tom, yo, you have 2 hours in our brother, you have to leave. No, 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 no. 2 hours why I give
Mm-hmm.
you RL. Why can't you do that to your government that is so corrupt, that has been killing you for years, poisoning you for years, cutting away your resources of food for years? If you used to fish in these waters, you can't fish there no more because they claim they sell that portion of the water to this Canadian company. How the fuck could you sell the ocean?
Yeah. And then they're up in bed with the IMF and all these alphabet gangs. You know what I'm saying? And the IMF is nothing more than a offshoot of the United Nations, and then the United Nations is not but an offshoot of the U.S.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
I hear a lot of, when I hear some conversations, sometimes I wonder, like, does these people know that the U.S. have influence over the Caribbean government, the government, makeup of the government, and they manipulate the currency, they manipulate the Caribbean economy. You know what I'm saying? Shout
Yeah.
out to Renzo Duckworth. Shout out to Haas. Big up yourself. Yeah, so they manipulate the economies using the IMF, right? Because the IMF is the one who give them the fiat, right? Buy up these indebtedness, these securities from the islands, which is your birth certificate, your birth registry, um, and write bonds against them, right? So this is how they create the debt, the so-called debt. It's it's alleged debt because it's not proven yet. So it's alleged. You know what I'm saying? Um, and this is what they keep doing, and then they raise the taxes on the people on the island to pay a tax to a foreign corporation, foreign investors. You know what I'm saying? And take the resources consistently, constantly, year after year after year after year. You know what people lose them life. You know what children will lose. You know what young man will lose. You know
The
what babies will lose.
the more and more foreigners that come on the land is the more and more killings that I see that's going on. People say, well, to kill off each other every year for election, but was it like that before this whole political system came in? It wasn't like that before this whole political system came in. Then what caused this political system to came in? What took place? You gave foreigners more and more influence over your people. You gave foreigners more and more influence over your land. And the old concept of divide and conquer. So your foreigners is going to divide and conquer you, and they don't have to do it via the way of the gun because they can put the gun in your hand and have you just slaughter each other. Boom, 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 back and forth.
Yep.
I remember when I used to hide. I used to have to hide in portions of my yard when election day come around, when election time coming around, right? Because my mom's was big into the politics too, you know, and my uncle also, and one was Laborite and one was PMP, yeah. And we used to when my father used to leave me with my mom, because my father have to come back to the States, the mainland, to work, right? But my father's down there, none would dare try. But when he come back, we have to hide. We have to hide. Every time election time come around, we have to hide. You hear the gunshot, then boom, boom, boom. You hear which neighbor dead, which neighbor child get killed, which pregnant woman get how many shots in our belly. All that, I mean, that shit is crazy. That is so asinine to even think of these type of things is happening, because why? A foreigner came and said, "Hey, here's the pay. Here, I'm going to give you this paper dollar that don't even worth the toilet paper I wipe my ass with. Here, and because I know that you're poor and you're suffering, they had to instill in your mind that you are poor. First of all, when I was young, I didn't even know I was fucking poor. I didn't know I was poor. I was still sleeping in the kitchen with my mom and my dad before we were able to build a little shelter area in the backyard, what we call a back room, for me, my mom and my dad. Yeah, and I still never knew I was poor. You know why? Because I never went hungry. We had our own chickens in the backyard. We had our own. Our neighbors had a goat, or we had family up a Benbow and them place there where we go and we can go get a goat, because we still have lands up there, and bring the goat, come back at Kingston, and boom, we make a goat soup, we make a curry goat, all these things. If my grandmother is cooking and the community wants some, the community gets some. So we was
Yep.
that we were poor. That those thoughts never crossed my mind until I hit the States.
Yep.
Okay.
And
So
you best believe a lot of the segregation and a lot of this whole color and this black and this all this nonsense. We actually is here. We come and see all this nonsense going on. Right,
exactly.
right on the mainland, right? Because we on the islands, we maintain our culture. We maintain it. We maintain it. We know how to cure ourselves with herbs. Granny always tell you what we use what bush. You know what I'm saying? Your grandmother know. Your grandmother always tell you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So my thing is, people don't understand how deep this thing gets. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand the levels to this thing. That the U.S is behind it 100%. They're the engine.
Yeah,
That's true.
Okay.
yes.
Look at Grenada. I forget what her name. Grenada did have this brother who used to look out for the people. And the U.S send the military down there and kill the man. Kill the man. Okay? I forget what I think his name. Grenada, man. You know me I talk that, man?
He's not
Yeah,
Bishop.
yeah, but
What his name?
you remember him name?
Is it Maurice Bishop, man? I don't remember his name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Maurice
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Bishop.
yeah, yeah.
Maurice Bishop. Okay, okay.
Yes.
And when
They
you,
went there with the military, killed the man. Right? Born
But
free, big up yourself.
you know,
Anne Marie Bates, big up yourself.
I mean, in terms of you were just talking about medicine and stuff like that, right? Look at
yeah,
the people that I mean, herbalists in the Caribbean, right? Most of the herbs in the Caribbean, Africans don't know them, or the use of them. And you're gonna tell me that these people came from Africa when they left. Okay, take for instance Aki. I know I'm gonna get a lot of attack when it comes to this Aki thing, right? Because I believe in this BS story that Aki came from. We brought Aki from Africa. Why you gonna bring something from Africa? In Africa, you have no use for it. You did not use it in Africa, right? It's a
exactly,
tree grow, it falls. No use for it in Africa. But yet you brought it to Jamaica and found use for it. Does it make any sense?
exactly.
Eh? You
You're
found
right.
use for Aki. We even use the Aki pad in the hills to wash clothing, right? Africans don't know the use of it. Go to any Africans, they don't know the use of it. Everybody learn about eating Aki from Jamaicans. And you tell me that
Exactly.
they get it from oh, the white man I mean said it's from breadfruit is the same thing. Breadfruit, I used to hear this dumb story when I was a kid. Captain Cook brought breadfruit to Jamaica. That's why the sea is in the heart of it.
Yeah.
No, serious. This I hear it a lot. All these dumb stories that these people taught us, right? And we believe it. Instead of take our, I mean, the stories of our grandparents, we believe what they put in books and what these Europeans told us.
The next thing is I got into an argument with a man who want to tell me he says so what's up come from China. When I said, yo, I don't want to grab him a shot in 2 boxes, but I said, yo, you know what? I said you're a change man now. Don't do it. Don't do it. And
They
I said,
told people that Irish potato, I mean, potato came from Africa, yam came from Africa, all kind of stuff they told us came from Africa. I mean,
and they get
guava
that
came from
bullshit,
Africa.
they get most of that
All
bullshit
of
from
these are native to us.
community.
But
the
the Colombian exchange, go do the research on the Colombian exchange, and that would tell you that during that time we were the ones feeding Africa.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know where they get all their theory. A lot of this come from the Darwin theory. This Pan-African come from the Darwin's theory. You know that?
Yes, but one people have to be responsible for this, brother. This destruction of our culture, right? And we cannot be too nice to them, right? And this is a group that I mean I idealized when I was a kid. The Rasta culture has destroyed Jamaican, brother. Rasta
Yes.
culture, because when Rasta started their madness, right? Our ancestors, our grandparents said, no, 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 we are from here and we are this. And Rasta said, oh, no, no, we're African, 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 right? And everything in the Americas come from Africa. They destroy our culture.
Yep.
That's a fact.
Yeah? They destroy our culture because they feed us something which is not true.
You know what's so funny though? When I confront a Rastaman, when I hear a Rastaman talk about Africa and Mama Africa, and I say, but I am Arawak, I tell people, look at the expression on their faces.
Yeah.
And when they say to them, but aren't you Arawak? Did your grandmother, your grandfather, your mom, your daddy tell you are Arawak, especially elder Ras? And they'll say, yes. So I said, so where did the African mindset come in at? And they get so lost. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to say. They reach around.
Leonard P. Howell is the one responsible for that Rastafari doctrine, because that's what it is, a doctrine. That's all it is, a doctrine.
But
beginning, it has no origins in a bloodline.
But why would you choose a country that you don't look like the people?
Exactly. All right. My question to the community out there. Africa is a continent of itself, and Africa itself have different phenotypes, right? Different phenotypes. Not all on that land look the same. They have different phenotypes. They look different in the bone structure. The facial structure is completely different. Now, why you think America is a whole continent from south to north, up to Canada, up to Greenland, from Antarctica to Greenland? So why you think it won't be the same for over here? Why you don't think we have different phenotypes over here?
I'm looking at this article, right? I mean, this document which saying that from the 1600s to the 1700s, right? Tens of thousands of Jamaica, Indians were sold to Jamaica as slaves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tens of thousands of them, right? And the same thing with the mosquitoes were sent there as slaves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it also says here, when they brought in Africans as slaves, right, in the late 1600s, right? They could not tell the difference between an American Indian and an African. The American Indian were later reclassified as Negroes, or even called Africans.
Yep.
Eh?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up too, about all the Indians that was brought to the islands as slaves, because there's this misconception by certain folks out there that Jamaica had played a part in the slave trade, where we were actually capturing slaves and we were buying slaves and these things, and that the Maroons were this and that. What people don't get is, when they was talking about the Maroons kept coming down from the mountains and freeing the slaves that the Maroon were freeing were the very same Indians coming down from the mainland.
Yes.
Again, when people understand, when I broke down the definition of Maroon to the people, it went back to Seminoles. Seminoles are from the mainland. It's a whole bunch of different tribes that came to that little island there, what we call Zamaka, yeah, and were freed by the folks from that island and went back up into the mountains with those folks. So when I say that we are all one people, when you want to be territorial and exclude South America, you want to exclude the islands and only say North America, how dare you? You cannot do that. That shows very little that you know about the history of the people, right? And that you are pushing some form of an agenda. Because when you go back again in history, you cannot skip past everything else and skip past that portion of the history that when the Indians from the mainland was coming to the islands as slaves. This is the reason why they passed the laws. What we was talking about earlier, what brother even American Iraq was sharing with me earlier. They passed these laws that Jamaica and Barbados was supposed to stop taking on Indian
Yep.
slaves
Right.
because
Yes.
they're freeing them.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Yes. Yes. Yes, sir. And
So
to add to that, the Pequots that got kicked out of the so-called New England era now. If you read the Hartford Treaty in there, it tells us straight up like it was the Narragansett and the Mohegans who confederate with the Europeans because they wanted the land, and they kick the Pequots out, decimate them, send them into Jamaica and to Barbados. And I'm saying the poor exile them out of their own lands and take it over and give it to the Europeans.
You know, I always give this joke. It's not really a joke, right? I was talking to this Native American chief once, right? And he said, Jamaican. I said, yes. He says, you know, whenever your people come in here, they're simply coming home. He says, every time your West Indian come here, you're simply coming home. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, people talk and they talk out of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what really happened. You know what I'm saying? They have no clue.
But I mean, some
They
of the
just, they
biggest,
just
some of the people who destroy our history the most, it's not necessarily the Europeans. Because if you
no.
look at the Europeans, they wrote in their books that they brought, say, about 11 million slaves the most, right? It was
Mhm.
our so-called black historian who went out and said, oh, no, no, it can't be 11 million. It has to be over 200 million. You see that? There are too many black people over here to be 11 million. So it has to be over 200 million. It wasn't the Europeans who
now,
said it. It was the blacks who said it.
but now you have to look into the history of those blacks, yeah.
Mhm.
And again, this is why I say when you dig into their history is going to go back into certain portions of Europe.
Yeah.
Their history is going to go back into certain portions of the Middle East,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
It's going to go more so back into the Middle East and again back to Portugal and Spain. It's
Yeah.
going to go
Yep.
back to those areas.
The
And then
Iberia Peninsula.
exactly. Now,
Yep.
I wanted to add in this. When you said that the Native American chiefs said that when you come in here, you're coming back home.
Yeah.
This is why there was no restriction on the papers that we were given, no date, no time frame of well, you have this amount of time frame to stay here, then you have to go back home. On the
Okay.
paperwork that we were given, this is why my great grandfather could have went in his boat and rowed and come over into the mainland via through the way of
Yeah.
Florida and
Yes.
come and chill and sell on the shores of Florida and rode and went back home.
Or the
This is
Carolinas.
Yep.
exactly. Now, I, when I used to check the Cherokee Dolls roll, I had family members whose name was on it, and then they took them off. But when I notified them that, hey, look, so and so and so, my grand aunt and my cousins them went, and I don't know what they did, but those names were added back onto the Dolls roll. Okay. And this is why I tell people check these things because they'll start deleting your family members' names off of these history scrolls,
Yeah.
and you don't know. Okay. So when I hear people, this is why I'm telling and I implore mainland Indians and island Indians, the segregation thing, stop it because you're only doing yourself more harm than good. You know, it's You're doing yourself more harm than good. We all come from the same source, and we are all intermixed with each other. A mainland Indian cannot say, "Yo, I did my history or my family history," and don't find back no trace of any island people in the history. That would be asinine. I won't believe it.
Well, I have
Yep.
documents of Indians that were brought to Jamaica as late as 1834
Wow.
from the Maryland area. So, they are there. We just have to keep digging.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if they have, I mean, tens of thousands of people were taken from Mesquite region to Jamaica, right? Between the 16th to the 1700s, right? Tens of thousands of Indian from the United States were taken to Jamaica and Barbados during that time. So and the British were reclassifying lot of these Indians as Africans, right? That's what the the historian are telling you, that a lot of these people were reclassified. Once they took them from Trinidad, and once they reached Jamaica, they were Africans. If you took them from Jamaica and took them to Trinidad or Guyana, once they reached there, they were reclassified as Africans.
And you know why? Because in the 1800s, that's when they brought in an influx of the coolie people. They brought in an influx of millions of coolie, an influx of the Chinese that came into the islands and the Americas around that time. And those are the real Africans. But they
Yeah,
had to switch places. They have to switch identity. Made you the foreigner on your own land and made the foreigner more relevant on your land than you are. And then you went ahead and ran with it when they brought in the Garvey era with the UNIA,
yeah.
when the Garvey era came around. But who taught Garvey? Who taught Garvey American Arawak? Go ahead, tell them.
Deuce Muhammad Ali,
A
You,
more,
you, you,
a,
you know,
a more, a more youth.
you know,
and he was a Moor.
I, I, I did some research on Yunus Muhammad, right, Ali? But I
Mhm.
find it strange though, because he didn't know much about American history. I think Garvey had to learn that somewhere else, because he was from where? Egypt, Sudan region, right?
Yeah, but he spent most of his days also in London.
Mhm.
That's where he went to school. He went to school in London. Now, when you trace back the history of these men, you're gonna see that they are in the Masonic or the Shriners Society.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
So their job will be, they know who you are. If they know if you are going to be a prospect, a future leader, they could see it in your aura. They could see it in you, and they will approach you and they will mold you and cultivate you to be what they want you to be, and send you out there into the world. And that's what you call a handler.
Yep.
And you go out there into the world and they push this doctrine in your head and you wholeheartedly believe it. And when you're one of the few that start waking up from it, like, oh, this was a lie, they get rid of you. With
Yep.
Garvey, they deported him. Then after they deported him, he started going back to what, Europe, other places. And he didn't die an old man. He died to me in a young age.
Yep. Um, Alex trying to join the chat, but is Mike for some reason not
Maybe
working. You know what?
maybe we have to mute and see if he can come in.
No, me not think of that. I don't think I had that. What it show me from in here, it's saying his mic is not connected, device not connected. So I
Oh,
guess it
he
was
has.
on his.
It's his computer. He have to allow. It depends on the browser that he's using, right?
Yeah,
It depends on the browser that he's using, but he has to allow the browser to use the mic or the camera and the
yeah. We found
camera.
that problem earlier.
Yeah,
yeah.
but it should when he got logged on, it should have gave him the option to accept if he wanted to allow the browser to use the mic or not, right? So it probably
Yeah.
depends on the equipment that he's using or the browser. I suggest that he use the Brave browser. If he's using any browser, use the Brave browser, right? For now,
Right,
because
right.
that's what I'm using right now. I'm using the Brave browser. If you
Yeah, but yeah, man, my brother Alex want chime in on this chat. It's a good chat. This. Also, I have records. I have seen a Virginia document, a court record where they take a Indian lady from Jamaica and they try to turn into a Negro. They're trying to change her status to a Negro.
Yeah,
And because she knew who she was when she went to court, she told the judge she's Indian and they let her go.
mhm. Yeah, there are a lot of cases that they used to do that a lot. Once you take an Indian from one place, when they reach the other place, they will be, I mean, labeled as a Negro.
Yeah. But she got freed because in Virginia at the time it was unlawful to enslave an Indian. So she got released because
Yeah.
she remember who she was.
It is still unlawful to enslave an Indian, i.e., their prison system, if you have not harmed anyone or anyone's property.
Exactly.
Still to this very day. So people should know that. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know because we keep saying we are wild Indians and we're not politically affiliated. We're gonna maintain that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, the provisions is within the 1789 U.S. Constitution, and it's also in the Articles of Confederation where it says Indians not taxed, excluding Indians not taxed. So when we say when we say we're going to adopt that paragraph or that phrase, it's just to say that we are not politically affiliated with the corporate structure, the corporate um uh you know
Yeah, because
enumeration system, the census.
because even in that section that you was talking about, even in that it specifically laid it out. It says
Yeah,
it made Indians on the reservation and the Indians off the reservation. So we know the Indians on the reservation are the federally recognized Indians, and the
Yeah.
Indians off the reservation are what they call, i.e., the wild Indians, are the ones who are the ones who are in a band, right? That means the one that are a set of tribes that's not a part of the corporation. You see what I'm saying? Are
yeah,
not taxed. Yeah.
right. So that's what I'm saying. Remember I showed you this. I forgot what it was. It was it was I think it was a Virginia Congress where the Rampanogs were incorporated, and then
Yeah.
within it they say that if you're not on the reservation, you're a Negro.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? What does that show you?
It means that the ones who they consider to be federally recognized, they counted them to be, they kept them on the same Indian status. But if you
Mhm.
didn't want to do business with the corporation, they were going to manipulate the pages, the books, the history books to identify you as something else. That means you got pushed out. While the
Yep.
other ones who are federally recognized got accepted in the corporate structure and was doing business with the corporation.
And they were not supposed to be regulated by the government. They were supposed to regulate commerce with the government, not be
Exactly.
under them. They're supposed to regulate commerce with them.
Yes.
So when you hear these ones talk about federal recognized and they're under the jurisdiction of the United States federal government, then you know that something is fishy there. Because if you're gonna be under somebody's, so the trick is they come under the United States protection. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna go underneath the protection and at the same time lose your autonomy, how does
So,
that?
but it don't make no sense to me because the same person that's hunting you, killing you, doing all these atrocious acts to you, poisoning your water, poisoning your air, the air that you breathe, poisoning the food supply, forcing your children to be vaccinated, right? And even if you're on the reservation and your children is not getting vaccinated, they're still living in atrocious environments because these reservations aren't perfect. They're drug infected. All sorts of stuff is going on because, again, you're sharing a reservation with your colonizer. You're intermixing with your colonizer. That's still historically, that's still instinctively, genetically have no respect for the land
Yep.
at the end of the day. So how is that? Like, I'd rather be a wild Indian.
And then through the Civil Rights Act, what they do, they create the projects and they push all the Indians in the projects. It was it
Reservation.
was it was
The,
supposed to be
pro-
a fair housing act,
the
right?
projects is a concrete reservation.
Yeah, I
Yes.
know. Yes, absolutely. So
Yeah.
they create these concrete reservations called projects through the Fair Housing Act. It was the Fair Housing Act that ordered those projects to be built. All right.
That's true.
So the same Civil Rights Act, you know what I'm saying, is kind of a nail in the coffin too.
Here's
You
another
know?
thing. That with the KKK, when the KKK was burning out people out their houses, even into the 60s, they have a thing where they say, when they're able to move you up off of the land. So this is why the burning down of houses and businesses, because when they burn down the business on the house and you move away from that land, and out of fear you don't come back, you gave it up.
Yep.
You gave up the land because you didn't come back. And when you gave it up, the same person that burned you out, that works for the corporation, but we know the KKK is a Democratic Party, that works for
Yep.
the corporation, they came and took that land and
Yep.
claimed it as theirs. That means they conquered it via warfare.
Yep.
Okay, because you ran away and you left it. Then, not only that, they were taking out people out their houses in the South and bringing them to the major cities and putting them into the projects and taking away their land and their homes through the urban renewal, as they
Yep.
call it.
Gentrification.
Yes.
So they orchestrate that even the so-called Trail of Tears. That's what it was about. It was about removing the Indians from their lands, right, to colonize that certain area and push them back over to the west. You know what I'm saying? And then those who stay, they lose their identity. They're being called Negroes or freemen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a lot. The word sorcerer is deep. Alex trying to come in here, man, but he's still saying the mic, something wrong with the mic.
Yeah, I was having that problem earlier.
He might have to use a different laptop. Tell him to use a different laptop and a different browser.
Yeah.
Alex, you gotta get a laptop because brother Sadiq, he ended up using laptop because the phone wouldn't allow him to come on. So we don't know what's going on here side.
Probably Digicel blocking him.
Yeah, it could be Digicel too. Because all I'm seeing is that device not connected. You're showing up in here in the studio, but you know, you're saying device not connected. But anyway, him in the chat room still, not the private side.
Yeah.
So you know, we can communicate same way. You know. But yeah, man. So it's a good build so far because we're just trying to get to the core of things. We're not hovering over the surface anymore. We're getting to the detail. We're going deep down beneath the surface now and get to the core of it and hold it and choke it. Because people tend to try to cover up wounds with band-aids. No, we're going into the wound now and we're going to find the bacteria and we're going to grab the bacteria and choke it.
And you know what's so funny? The information is out there.
It's there.
It's available.
It's not like we can say, oh man, we are African. We are African. The information is there.
Even the Africans are now telling you you're not African.
Right. Yeah.
You know, in the videos I played of Africans laughing at us, talking about, they think they're Africans. And then the other African elbowing the next one that's saying it, telling them to shh. I'm like, yo, pay attention, people. And they don't want to go back to the Umar Johnson. These men are doing it for the money. They're paid. Yes. There's money in this. I don't care. They give you 10,000 truths about colonization in Africa. They can tell you what the vaccines are doing to your babies. That's nothing. When it comes to your nationality, that's like if I say, okay, boom, I need paperwork, but I don't know how to do the paperwork, right? And you see how the Moors out there would say they can do the paperwork, and you go to the Moors to go get your paperwork done. But then at the end of it, in the core of it, when it comes to identifying as nationality, you see they slip in Moorish American, but you know you're not Moorish American, right?
Yeah.
That's what you call paper genocide. That is what them push.
Alex just dropped something and it makes sense. He said thing is, brothers, maybe some people are African. We don't speak for other people's
Yeah,
ancestry.
no,
But
I
this,
agree with what I'm saying, right? But majority of us are not Africans.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's,
I get that, but like the brother just said, majority of us are not Africans. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
But
totally
even,
get what
but
Alex
even
is saying,
so,
and I agree with him.
but even with that said, right? Who the Africans mix with? They still have our blood. When
Yep,
they came to Jamaica and they came without women, who they mix with?
yep.
Exactly. That is true. That is true.
So,
So even if there was some intermixing, they still have American Indian blood in them.
Yeah.
And this is why I always still say, even if they're mixed, they're still our people.
Yep.
yep, exactly, exactly. The majority of the
This
blood,
whole,
the blood.
you have a fraction that's doing this whole segregation thing. We're just for the North, but you're not for the whole North because Chicago is founded by Haitians, cultivated, built, populated by Haitians, and Haitians are Arawaks.
Yes. Pure blood,
Yep,
right?
Part of St. Louis is the same thing. The same Haitian that founded Chicago was the same Haitian that went and had St. Louis populated,
Yep.
cultivated, and built up.
Yes.
So when you're speaking of just the North, we're in the North. Because if you're saying Texas, right? North America, we're Texas, we're Texas Indians, and this is it right here. But if you don't want to get on board with this here, right? You don't want to get on board with this here. So when we get up and running with the corporation, don't come running to us for help if anything comes down on you, because this is us for Texas. That is what you call territorial Indians, and that's tribalism. That's where the divide took place within the people, and this is why certain fractions of Indians were able to be conquered. Boom, 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 right on and down the line. Because for one portion was only worried about the section of the soil that they're standing on because they wanted a territory. Well, I don't want no man telling me that I can't walk through this territory and that territory. So I don't claim a territory. I say I am an American, meaning I want to be able to travel from North America, go straight down into South America, travel back from South America, come straight back down into North America without anyone coming to try to check me at an imaginary border saying, hey, what Indian are you? Are you Texas Indian? Or are you a New York Indian? That's bullshit.
Like this whole land is Indian land, man. The whole thing from Greenland go right down to the to Antarctica is all Indian. So yes, they did the Blancamiento down in South America where they try to the racial whitening, where the genetic genocide, where they bring all the Caucasian, the Europeans come down there and mix out and who they not mix out, they kill, who they not kill, they move. You know what I'm saying? Total annihilation. When you look at like places like Argentina, Chile, you barely see our people.
Exactly. And no one is paying attention to this. So no, I don't want to sit at the table of those who have historically been known to genocide and still doing it in our faces with this fake coronavirus. And when you go into their hospitals, you're not coming out. Our people. No, I don't want to be politically affiliated with these people neither. No, I don't want nothing to do with these political people. None.
Alex,
Nada.
Alex,
But
Alex,
I want to deal with original Americans. That's what I
yeah,
want to deal with. If we're going to talk politics, I want to politic with original Americans. If we're going to create something, I want to create something with original Americans. But I don't want to sit at no dinner table with the same colonizing force that's been killing my people for generations on generations and generations and generations, and kiss and make up and play nice every fucking time. Like, look
yeah,
at what's happening now. This is
yep,
not going to stop. And when you keep sitting at their table, they're going to give you a contract. And in the contract, they're going to have things that you're going to want to or going to have to agree with. I don't want to be contractually bound to no colonizer. No.
yep. Alex, Alex, if a man wants to be African, let him. They soon start getting deported.
Exactly. Look at You see what the Africans are now doing? We pay attention. They're going at them Chinese in droves. It might be a little too late for some parts of Africa, but they're going at them now in droves. I just hope that it's not a ploy. But if it's not a ploy, the next that's going to come, that's going to get clamped down on, is the African American that went over there proclaiming to be well, they already started clamping down on them anyway, because they letting them know you're not African, you're not from here. Oh, you just came to Africa? You just built this big house? Oh, this your farm? Oh, really? Oh, hey, oh, you're a farm. Hey, oh. And then next minute, you know, you have a big gun staring you down in your face, kicking you out of the house that you built.
I know. The ICCC have a friend that went over there and built up over there, and them kick him out him house and take him house.
Exactly. And it's
and
been going.
ICCC, and them have to make up money for buying plane ticket. And didn't have money to come back.
None. It happens more often than you think, and these Pan-Africans don't tell those sides of the story. So our thing is, what my thing is, I don't want people to go get caught up in something because of half-ass information that certain people's give you because they have an agenda. There is no agenda here. The only thing that we ask for the people to do is do your research. That is it. Do your research. Understand the beast that you are working with. Do your research. Where did the ancestors go wrong in history? Where are we going wrong in history? Martin Luther King sat at the table with these people, and he was an agent, and they got rid of him. Malcolm X sat at the table with these people, and they got rid of him, right? The ones who sat at the table that started waking up, they got rid of. The ones who sat at the table and stayed their slaves, their minions, are still around. You got rid of Martin Luther King, but you kept Al Sharpton? The fuck? You got rid of Malcolm X, but Farrakhan is still here? Huh? Come on. Wake up.
For real. Wake up, man. Wake up. And it's a lot of things we need to fix on a higher, on a more advanced level. Like our people on the islands should not need a visa to come to the mainland. No, that's a big no. Red flag.
Exactly.
Red flag.
You know what another thing is?
Yeah.
If one wants to be in politics, yeah?
Yeah.
Why limit yourself to sit down with the same beast that's been here on your land doing you great injustice? You see, Africa is deporting Chinese just for being racist. Just for being racist. And you're sitting down with these same racist people, yeah, in politics that will call you nigger to your face, spit on you to this very day, walk every aisle when you walk in a Walmart and watch you pick up every single fucking item. Then when you get to the door, after you get to the register and you get to the door, they ask you for a receipt. After they done watched you for the whole hour you've been there. See that you pay for everything, right? Why limit yourself? You know how many other nations and countries they are out there that you can do business with if you want to do business, if you want to be in politics? Why stick to these ones? You could go anywhere. You go to the Philippines. You could go to if you so love your African brothers and sisters, do business with your African brothers and sisters to where you are still politically protected. Cuba wasn't doing business with the U.S. corporation, and they were politically protected, where they got their own missile defense system and their army built to where they can protect themselves. Because if you don't have a military, you are what you call duck hunt, like the old game from Nintendo.
Yeah.
Ducks take off flying and quack, quack, pop.
Yep.
Down. Okay? So if you're not speaking on these terms, then I don't want to be associated with those things.
Yep.
Because look at it. Not to cut you. One more thing. I remember Farrakhan out of his own mouth said Gaddafi offered him how much money and weapons to secure our people, and he turned it down. And shortly after, Muammar Gaddafi was killed. Okay?
Yep.
That shit sink in too. All right?
Yep.
And you know why he couldn't even take that money or those weapons? Because he's politically affiliated with the corporation. They're not a nation. They're a branch of the corporation.
Yep.
So you can't be a branch of the beast and want to be the right arm of the beast and punch the beast in his face. It's not going to happen.
Yep. And Cuba have good medical facilities too. And they don't have to pay for for medical treatment. So why we can't take a page out of Cuba book? And you know it's funny because me and Alex was just building on that the other day. Why we can't take a page out of Cuba's book? Because Cuba is one of them country you don't see pretty much showing up on TV. They're very private, right? And
True.
Alex just said here in Zamaka, the Rastas were declared indigenous villages with their own schools and facilities. Yes, they're gonna be declared indigenous because they are. They are the true Mayans. They are the true people of the land. They just got misled. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. They're gonna get grants. They should get grants because yes, they might say Selassie, but the bloodline is Mayan. The bloodline is Zamaka. The bloodline is Arawak. So of course, I'm not here to tear down Rasta, you know. All I'm saying is that come correct, fix up on yourself. That's all I'm saying. Not here to tear down nothing. Everybody have the right to believe what they want to believe in, but do not push that Selassie nonsense on our people.
Okay, but look at this now. Look at this, right?
Yeah,
Before they were from Africa, and now they claim to be indigenous. You see?
exactly.
Okay.
So they want to be indigenous when it benefit them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as that man said, if you're politically affiliated with the beast, man, we want no parts of it, man. We are with the unity. But the minute you're telling me that you have to sit down on the table with the beast and have treaties and all these things, listen, man, the beast don't have any treaties. So that make your treaties null and void anyways. That in itself make the treaties null and void. And why would you want to you know, write a treaty with somebody you have no honor over the years? Why you want to still uphold that treaty? You know, should I get rid of that treaty and start to just do things and get things done? Because that means nothing, that null and void. And then you box out our people from the islands and down south. We get boxed out of the whole deal. So only some Indians will get benefits from the land when the land belongs to all Indians. Then the Most High endured upon us this great vast estate, this vast earth, or this vast piece of land over here on this side for our Indian brothers and sisters. So why you gonna confederate with a certain European people, and you alone must get the benefits of the land? No. And then you're gonna start get territorial because you think you own land. None of we own nothing. The Most High owned the land that it was given to us to be caretakers of. So I don't acknowledge your territory. Sorry. I don't acknowledge none of it. Indians not tax all day, every day. That's where I stand. Not politically affiliated with none of these colonial. Listen, man, no matter how you put the U.S would always be a corporation because the base, the essence of the U.S is a corporation. The Virginia company is a corporation. So what that tell you? If the Virginia company was the origins of the U.S, why do you think the U.S is different from the source? King James wrote the charter for the Virginia company and the Plymouth company to come over here and set up colonies, right? So if you confederate with the colonies or the corporation to go against your own brothers and sisters, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. And you want to regulate our movement upon these lands, giving us green cards and all these things and visas. We don't need all of that. Just give we back we right to travel, make we go freely without these imaginary borders. And then now you come and implement your whole so-called September 11 attacks to create this DHS, which is another colonial construct to limit our movements. What? Huh?
I know them of the COVID to create this so-called vaccine cure that's not that won't be approved or might not come till the next 10 years because it takes 10 years to approve a vaccine. So people sit here and play this game, yeah? Sit here and play this game.
I'm telling you, did you know when you're buying a plane ticket, you're paying a 9/11 tax? Did you know that? What did you have to do with 9/11? Did you set up that whole drama? Do you have anything to do with it? So why are you paying a 9/11 tax? To give the DHS. You paying a 9/11 tax to give DHS, to fund the DHS so they can keep their foot on your neck, right? To keep it off your own lands, to create imaginary borders from freely moving. Because all they want to do is control trade. What go in and what go out. That was their plan from the beginning. They wanted to control the trade, our trade, the way we trade. Because we were trading on the canoes. We was a barter. We have a barter system. You know what I'm saying? This is how the northern Indians trade with the southern Indians and vice versa. So when I see how we trade and how we get along, that's what they were after. You know what I'm saying? So pay attention.
Now, when you look at it, right?
Yeah.
The Chinese, like I said earlier, the Chinese took a page out of the Europeans' book. You see, China used to come with treaties like 20 years, 30 years. Now they're coming with 99 years treaty.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you see a supposed terrorist attack or disaster happen here on the mainland, a treaty that still didn't mean shit anyway, had expired. It was up, and they had to keep you distracted so that they can still gain another foothold on more of what is supposed to be your inheritance. Okay, now if you pay attention to what's going on, because when China buy up all these ports, or China gets control of all these ports, you really can't no more push through any form of cargo of your own on your own waters, because here you're going to have the English crown over here that's still in your waters and won't fucking leave, and here you're going to have the Chinese that's over here, which the Chinese and the English crown are contracted with each other, but you, the little island man, or you, the little mainland woman or man that wants to ship parcels across the waters with your own boat, your own shipping company, can't do it because they shut down all the ports. So you can't even trade still back and forth with each other. Why? Because one, you have corrupt individuals who are representing you. Two, you have an identity crisis. Three, you've become very much so submissive. You are no longer majority and alpha base type of people. And that's just the blunt reality of it. You only come out if someone gets shot dead in the streets, but you won't come out for the years of pollution, radiation, and all these things in your ear or your drinking water. But when someone gets shot dead in the streets, you come out because the corporation sent 200 Negro actors to create a protest, and then they will on to run out just to scream. Children scream and shout when they can't get their own way. It's either you're going to have action, you're going to build together as a community, grow your business together as a community, exclude the foreign entity out of what it is that you are growing and building together, create your union and your council from there, and then you touch the international stage. This is who we are. We've always been here. We haven't gone anywhere. Build something first. Grow something first. Then you could go on the international stage. Hey, we've always been here. Pick your choices of who you're going to want to do business with. Because just like how they pick apart our weakness, you can do the same. Because they look to see which one of us are more divided. Well, those people argue amongst each other. They are divided amongst each other when it comes to certain things. But if someone can see that, hey, well, these people are still here, and they've built this, they've cultivated this, so and so and so, and they're no longer budging and no more lands being given up, but we want to do business. Okay, well then let's help them in a transfer of power. This is how you create alliances, but you have to also have something to bring to the table. You can't say you want to bring something to the table, you're kissing the ass of the colonizing force that's still treating you like shit today. It don't work
Yeah.
like that.
And Alex just said, with all of that in place, we can band together and get boats because we can freely travel on the waters based on the treaty, the J Treaty. You remember that J Treaty? Within it says we have the right of the waterways. Okay, we're not supposed to be molested. We have
Yes.
boats and travel freely. You know what I'm saying? And as Alexa said, it will allow us to travel, trade and learn. We create a flag and notify them, right? And he also said the OAS wants us to step up. The land is there for us to get back, but we must read. Okay? So if we're not about getting back with land and coming together and treating the land and growing food and regulating our own travel, you know what I'm saying? Then we ain't saying nothing. There's nothing to talk about. If this is what we're trying to get to, then I don't see the point of even having a panel. It's pointless. Might as well we just go back to what we used to live. So we need to get it together, cut the crap. You know what I'm saying? We as a people, we need to get it together. My little daughter, she make pillows and all that stuff. Right now she making masks because she see the opportunity to capitalize on the mask. Why not? She's just a little girl, 11. Teach your children to be productive. If you have children, teach them to be productive. Let them learn a trade so we can exchange with each other. You know what I'm saying? This is what we need to be doing. So Alex said, if we have boats and land, we feed ourselves and regulate our own trade. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. This is what this is about. We're not here to talk about this is our territory and no, we ain't going to that territory because this Indian said, oh, he signed treaty with the colonizer on this territory. So the colonizer tell him, say, no, don't make the other Indians come over here because they're not a part of they're Negroes, they're black. No, we're not with that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if we're not building, if we're not starting from what we're here right now and building and end the segregation, because you and I know the U.S, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, all of those are crown trusts. So why hold on to something that's oppressing you? Let it go. And band together as a people we are and just go back to our ancestral ways. That's it. Learn the land, learn the herbs. Right now we have COVID-19, people dying, dropping like flies. They can't even cure themselves. They run up in these deathbeds. Once they end up in a hospital, you're pronounced dead. Because you forget what grandma tell you. Grandma used to tell you what bush to pick, what bush to boil, and you forget.
That idea, my grandmother gave me great advice.
Mm-hmm.
And when I wasn't feeling well, I listened to her. And I'm good.
Exactly.
My cousin, the same. Everyone in my house that during flu season that gets sick, right? During flu season, self-cure themselves. No one runs into no hospitals, right? And everyone that has survived this COVID-19 are the ones that didn't go into the hospital. The ones that went into the hospital are not coming back out. If you can't put two and two together, I don't know what to tell you. And if you tell me 50,000 people died, I want to see the 50,000 names. I want to know their ethnic background. Were they Caucasian? Were they melanated people? Were they Asian? What is the percentage of the folks who are dying? Let me get their first and their last names, date of birth, all these things, because they're deceased, they're social, whatever. Well, they're not going to give a social, but their first name, last name, date of birth. Let me go and research and see if these people are real, because I haven't seen any bodies. You showed me a big Mack truck trailer with one body going in the back, one, and said, oh, see, this is what it is. Why? Because the camera probably shoots in 4K. Huh? The picture looks crisp and clean. They did it from a nice angle. So, oh my God, look at that. The sheet is covering the body. First of all, they brought the body out covered in a fucking sheet. If it's an epidemic, it's going to be zipped up in some form of a plastic bag or a body bag. It wasn't even in that they was putting in the back of the truck. So if the body's so infected and can still spread this disease, why did it come out on a stretcher, or what they call a gurney, with just a white sheet over it? People, pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on. Stop focusing on this. Again, this is the time. A lot of prices for a lot of things, land, houses, has depleted, has decreased. If you have it, because a lot of want to have it, a lot of y'all have it, I'm not trying to hear that, invest. The past 10 years, it has been a lot of our young ones that has come up in entrepreneurship, and they've started community businesses. Pay attention. Now, this is why you hear your governors talking about, we're going to do it in increments by opening up the businesses. So which businesses they opening first? They opening all the Caucasian businesses first. And the ones who are in the Negroid communities or the Negroid business owner, you're going to be last. Because why? It's a caste system. Because the Negro business owner, for the most part now, figured out certain things of how to put less and less of their money in Uncle Sam's pocket. And because you are the thriving force, the Negro dollar is what keeps the U.S. economy afloat. And you figured out what they're doing. For the most part, of a lot of these business owners, you learned how to hide your money now. But now you're supposed to learn now of your ancestry, your nationality, of whom you are, and realize that you are not taxed. Takes 100% of your money, goes right back in your pocket, and you can pay your employees above minimum wage if you so choose. Your businesses are the ones that they're targeting. This is why they keep pushing. The African American community is the highest hit. The Black community is the highest hit. Northern Jersey is the highest hit. Chicago, the Chicago is the highest hit, but yet still original lone wolf drove all around goddamn Chicago, and all the hospitals were empty. New York hospitals are always packed. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. And it's more packed around this time because it's flu season. The line, especially Kings County. A lot of times you go to Kings County, the line is stretching down even 2 blocks. Okay? So if you're not from New York, you're not going to know this. So that's why I laugh when I see Negroes. So like, oh my God, look at the line. And then you say, yo, you never been to Kings County before? Yeah. That's your first time seeing the line like that? No. So the fuck? You making a big deal about it now. Why are you acting like you're surprised? And those are the sheeps. And you stay away from those. You stay away from the sheeps because they will get you killed. Okay? When they already know something and they play stupid. You're shocked because you see the line 2 blocks, going 3 blocks, and you've always seen it before this COVID-19, and you act like you're just now seeing it. Telling you people, wake up. It's either you're going to do business with each other, or you're going to go and sit at the table with the colonial forces and lock yourself back in like your ancestors did, and you're going to turn on your other tribe, the tribesmen and women, or your other American Indians, like your ancestors did. That's facts. That's the when you strip back the many layers of the onion, that's what it boils back down to. They came with your ancestors and they gave them sweet deals. And then after they gave them those sweet deals, they still went into their homes and took their children away from them. American Arawak has the information. They took their children away from them. They took the men, still separated the men from the women. And these are the ones that were federally recognized by the corporation. They were still doing that. Now with this COVID-19 thing, what they telling you? The African American community is the hardest hit. And we're going to have to start going door to door and do testing. And possibly if family members are sick, remove the family members. So they're going to remove the husband from the wife. They're going to remove the children from the household. Period. It's the same story, different tactic, same outcome. You want to sit at a table with these people? Man, you bugging.
And food for thought, they're locking down all your federal reservations as well. Okay, they already started. Okay. Um, Alex said in Zamaka, the government agency acknowledged the UNDRIP is just not good in court as it is not municipal law. But once you change your status from Jamaican to Indian, your land will be tax-free. Okay, that's some information Alex just dropped. You just have to notify the proper agencies. So people on the island of Zamaka, do your due diligence, look into these. You know, I shared it on Darkmanix live the other day. If you look on that live we did, it's in the chat in that area. I shared the link with the old Jamaican constitution. That's your remedy right there, right?
I pinned it. I pinned it in the chat.
Right.
So just look to the chat; they'll see it.
Right. So, brother Sadiq.
Yeah.
You have anything else you want to share as far as the party?
Yeah, you know, it's so funny. I'm looking at some stuff. They had a lot of stuff on Paratee. They took down most of them, man. I can't believe it. But you know, we'll get there, man, because we know who we are, and even the Maroons will tell you that, you know, we are the indigenous people of Jamaica. You know, it's just the thing is, a lot of these tribal names in Jamaica is not taught in history books, you know, and I think it's all purposely done. It's just the same thing. We don't know much about the Maroons other than the same four stories that they keep telling us over and over and over. That's it. We need to go to the Maroons themselves to get their history, other than taking what they taught us in school. And we need to go to the other indigenous group and get their history. Because if we don't do that, and we also have to, what we're doing, we also have to put it out there so people can also go and research on their own. Because if we don't do that, man, all these knowledge and history will be lost.
And listen to your grandmother, right? And
right.
brother, I tell you, a lot of us on the islands are mosquitoes, all right? So look into
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right?
The mosquitoes were brought there, tens of thousands of them were brought from South America, right? Enslaved on the islands. And later on, the British brought in new mosquitoes to fight against the mosquitoes that were up in the Maroon Hills. You know? So, you know, when we don't know our history, we fight among ourselves. They use us, and we have to know our history, you know? And listen to our grandparents, right? Listen to our grandparents. I like the concept of the Rastafarian. It did serve a purpose in terms of unity, you know, but it also destructive because we don't know who we are. We're looking to another man's land as our homeland while neglecting our own here in the back in the Americas. Yeah, we have what is rich. We have a beautiful soil, beautiful land here in the Americas, and we're giving it up to go to another man's land. And what happened when that other man's, our so-called brothers or cousins, decide to chase us out of their country? Where do we go? We have to love our own country.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alex said, trusts are so vital to protect our rights. We must unite. We simply must. So, as I said, I'm going to do a build on trust, what a trust is, so people could get the breakdown of how simple it is. You and your family could start a trust. You don't have to go outside of your family, so outside of your house. Create your own little clan trust, you know what I'm saying? So it's not that hard. Just create your own bylaws within your house. And that's how you do it. And you could actually do commerce with that trust, as long as you know the rules of commerce, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's another way. But we're gonna build on that. So I'm about to wrap this up, you know, because I have family duties.
Yeah.
Okay.
So big up yourself, Sadiq. Big up
And thanks
yourself,
for the
Alex.
invite, man.
Big
Thanks
up
for the
yourself,
invite.
Darkman X. You know what I mean? We're gonna do more of these build. Also we'll come up on your platform as long as you invite you and it's okay with you.
Yeah, man.
Big up yourself. Yeah, man. We'll
That
continue with this.
enough love, man.
Yeah, man. Same here, brother.
Yeah, man. Me have families to tend to, you know, wife need me right now and children I get crazy. So,
all right, cool.
you know, go ahead. I mean, I lie to nobody. I mean, I don't hide. Me don't tell that already. So,
All right, cool. Enough love.
Yeah, family man, you know. So yeah, man. I go so big up on ourselves, dude.
Yeah, cool.
Come on. Dear thing,
The bill and things. So yeah, man. Glad for this, man. So people, check in Darkman X TV. You know, him have a lot of information. Big up Darkman X TV. You know, he was that at least one of the forerunners for the Caribbean people about when it comes to this knowledge. I mean, he's actually the forerunner. He's actually what the breakthrough, one who break through in the YouTube world. And, you know, we just take some pages out of that man book and we just try to get the people for, you know, get the information because it's there, you know who we are, know the connection to the mainland and the islands, that we are not foreign to these lands. Don't let them tell that you are some immigrant. You are not. You are not. You are not immigrant to the mainland. You are not immigrant to the islands, okay? You are not. It's simply not. You just need to correct the wrongs, all right? So big up on yourself, man, and, you know,
Let
yeah,
me
man.
let me say something real quick then.
All right.
Fear. Fear will cripple you if you let it. I almost let it cripple me at one point. Okay? For those who go through any form of mental issues or anything like that. Break through from that fear. Break through from your mental issues. Yeah? And conquer anything that comes your way. Anything that seems like it's coming to conquer you, that is ill towards you. Once you are able to do that, you won't fear anything in this world. And you will go out there and you'll accomplish what you need to accomplish. But if you let fear seep in, or if you let anyone portray their negative energy onto you, because you have forces out there that can do that, and you'll take on their energy, and their energy will start affecting you, your everyday movements, you would only cripple yourself and be stagnant. No growth. Okay? So if you conquer your fear and you take time for yourself to cleanse yourself spiritually and mentally, there's anything anyone out there or any entity or corporation out there can do to break you, because fear is weakness, and that is what they play off of. They play off of fear. All right? You got to be a brave heart. You got to be brave. This is not for the weak. So if this is not for you, you just stay out of it. If you are fearful, stay out of it.
Big up, Anne Marie Bay Pass, big up Smoking, big O6. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for viewing. Harry Ford, yeah, he was asking about the genealogy. Well, you could use family search. You have a website named Family Search. You could start with that. Start with your grandmother. You know what I'm saying? You know, ask grandma what's going on. You know what I'm saying? If you have any elders left, you know, alive, ask them, you know, where, you know, ask them about their grandparents. You know what I'm saying? Ask them where their grandparents from. And usually they're gonna tell you up in a country. You know what I'm saying? That's what they usually say, that they're born in our house. Like my granny said. My granny said she just born in our house up in our Louis, so that's up. You know, so yeah, man. So it's interesting, you know. But big up on yourself. And we're gonna do a part 2. Alex said you're gonna do more building on the Paratee with wage war on the church. So big up on yourself. So yeah, man. So I'm gonna be out now, okay? Big up on yourself. Big up the chat. Big up on yourself. Big up that man. Big up. Big up Alex, all right?
All right, cool.
So big up on yourself. Peace out.